And today, the theme of our show is really a cheat sheet. Basically, we're going to try and break down big trends and things we all hear each other talking about in the office. We're going to admit to each other we don't know what all of these things are and try and get to the bottom of them. So Ian's going to kick it off with one of our audience members. She wants to know about the keto diet. Stephanie is here. Stephanie?
I'm usually that person who's not too familiar, nods their head, not too sure. And I'd like to know about the keto diet, the Whole30, and what it's all about. Can you explain it to me?
Is that the same thing? First of all, I don't know about either. You know, Dr. Ian has written literally best-selling books about things like the shred, right?
Yeah.
But they're more principles than actual diets.
Yes.
I am very weary of any extreme in dieting.
Yes.
Should I be?
Oh, absolutely. So we don't like extremes. And in fact, my new book that's coming out in April is called The Clean 20.
Right.
It's about clean eating. Let's go with the keto. So you always hear the term keto diet or ketogenic diet. Let me explain it to you. The body needs energy, and the primary source of energy is sugar. Carbohydrates get converted into sugar, and our body uses that primarily as energy because we eat so much sugar. However, there are alternative fuels, something called ketone bodies. And ketone bodies are created when your body and your liver take fat, stored fat and fat that you eat, and convert them into ketone bodies. And so your body now, instead of using sugar, is going to use the ketones. And the beauty of it is this, that because the stored fat is being used to convert it into ketones, you start losing weight, and you start dropping sizes because you are reducing those fat cells. These are your fat stores, these marbles, okay? So we put our marbles in the stove. As you can see, the body is not using our fat stores. It's not dropping down to the bottom of the canister. However, this is sugar, which we all eat too much of. And so as you can see here, our body uses the sugar, it drops down because our body uses it preferentially. However, when you run out of sugar, or you starve yourself from sugar, this is why we call them low-carb, high-fat diets. When you do that, all of a sudden your body says, well, where am I going to get energy from? So
it has no choice but to eat the fat.
It has no choice. It takes the fat, and now the fat drops, and you use it as energy. So carbs are your enemy in this program, which I disagree with because carbs are very important for us. But you have to stay away from grains, rice, things like bulgur. You have to stay away from certain fruits. You have to stay away from all kinds of sugars. You have to stay away from tuberous vegetables. So
sweet potatoes,
white potatoes.
White potatoes, right.
So these are things you have to avoid because if you eat these things, then your body is going to start using this preferentially instead of the ketones, which come from your fat. Things that you can have, now I like this, steak, salmon.
But you would put barbecue sauce all over it, which you're not going to be allowed because it has sugar.
That's right. But salmon, fish, chicken, you can have leafy greens and eggs. So these are the kinds of things that you can have, but also you want to have fat. Remember,
you can have whole fats.
This is a high-fat diet. So things like high-fat dairy, butter. You can have some fruit, by the way. You can have nuts, which are a source of good fat, olive oil, avocado oil, and vegetables that grow above the ground. Now, let me show you what it looks like you're going to be eating. It's called a pie chart or a keto chart. So there are 3 macronutrients we eat in our diet. Macronutrient meaning we need these things in large supply. So in the keto diet, you're going to have 70% fats, 25% protein, and 5% carbs. This is the balance that needs to be maintained in order for the keto diet to work. If for some reason...
If that math's off, it will not work.
It will not work, and you will not be in ketosis, and it's not going to happen. Now, one way you can tell if you're in ketosis are these things called keto sticks. Okay?
Wow, this is complicated, man.
So, it's...
You know, I'm lost even at the cheat sheet.
Well,
I would suck at this quiz, is all I'm saying.
So you take this dipstick, you put it in your urine, because that's where we see ketone bodies. We excrete them in our urine, and what happens is, if you look here at the color chart, in 15 seconds, it's going to come up with a color, and here's the graphic to tell you. Now, some people make the mistake of thinking, well, obviously if I want to be in ketosis, the more the better. Not so. You actually want to stay in the moderate range. And one thing, too, by the way, real fast.
This isn't something you could sort of do. You have to be on top of it.
And you cannot exercise very intensely because you tend to have lower energy on the keto diet because you have very few carbs.
Sounds like you're going to be a really grumpy jerk. So I would move along to a different diet, personally.
Okay, let's talk about the Whole30. Everyone is trending the Whole30, right? Okay. The Whole30 program really isn't a diet. It's a program to help you reset. to help your body recover. And the major principle behind it is you want to prevent inflammation in your body.
Yes.
So there's a group of scientists that believe that some of the foods we eat create inflammation, and this inflammation gives us all kinds of digestive problems.
And pressure on your organs,
And
too.
pressure on our organs, absolutely. So here's the key. I'm going to show you the cheat sheet of things you can eat on the Whole30. You can have meat, fish, eggs, some fruit, and of course your healthy fats, and some vegetables. You want to avoid processed foods. As I talked to you earlier, we in America eat too many processed foods that has a lot of junk in it.
But this diet also, they're taking away grains
They're taking away
all
grains, sugars, legumes. I'm a little suspect on other nutritionists about why you're taking away legumes. Legumes are a great source of non-animal protein.
Right.
So that is a little question mark. And of course, if you like to drink, guess what? You won't be having it for 30 days. and dairy also, by the way, some people, dairy is inflammatory. Dairy is a great source of vitamin D and calcium. That also is on my suspect list. But this is what you need to eat and what you need to avoid.
But you do that for 30 days.
For 30 days, because the idea is you are hitting the reset button. It's not a diet. It's a program, okay? Now, we have someone in the audience who actually, Jesha, who actually has done the Whole30, right, Jesha?
Hi, Jesha.
Yes, I have. I mean, I did Whole30 for about 3 months, and actually, I'm now on the ketogenic diet, which you just talked about. So, for me...
Which you like better?
I love keto.
You like
Well, they're
keto?
very similar. I mean, they're very similar.
Yeah. And you know, thank you for that. That's a great testimony. Also, I want to show people at home an ingredient. So it's about not eating processed food. So you can see here, there's an ingredient called carrageenan. And carrageenan is a non-digestible seaweed extract.
And is carrageenan, is that a good thing, or you should
No, it's a bad
avoid
thing.
it? It's a bad thing.
You want to avoid it. You want to avoid processing on the Whole30. No doubt about it. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right, come to the kitchen.
All right, let's move along.
I just feel at home in the kitchen.
I know you know, he writes all these diet books. He's certainly a fit guy, but you really do love the kitchen.
I love being in the kitchen,
You feel very at home in it.
So this last program is called restricted eating, time-restricted eating. And the idea is very simple. This is, once again, a program that's been around for a long time. It's called intermittent fasting, which means intermittent, on and off. Fasting means deprivation of nutritional or nutrients. And the idea is very simple. You are going to be able to eat on this program all these things that you see here. You're going to have eggs and bacon, one of my favorite, my younger kids' favorite. You're going to have chicken salad and chips and steak and potatoes. All this stuff that you are not going to have on a lot of these programs, you can have it, but here's the caveat. You have to have it in a 6 to 8 hour window. Okay? So, if you have it, you can eat all you want in those 6 to 8 hours, but after those 8 hours are up, you are fasting for the night. Okay? So it's intermittent fasting. Now, I believe the reason why this works, if you think about it, you cannot consume, no matter how big your stomach and eyes are, you cannot consume a crazy amount,
your hunger.
That's right, a crazy amount of calories in just 8 hours.
Especially if you don't eat for a long period of time, your stomach shrinks, and less food is more filling.
Absolutely. And so I think it works because you're really having a calorie-lowering diet.
Period.
So you're eating less calories. Now, let me show you how the clock works. So the idea is very simple. If you start eating at 8 o'clock, you're allowed to eat from 8 to 2. At 2 o'clock, cut it off. You are done. You can drink water and things like that, but you only have that window.
Exactly. You don't start until that time the next day. Should you consult a doctor if you're going to do something? That sounds pretty drastic.
100%. And let me tell you why before we go. You have to be careful with these programs. You need to make sure you are getting the proper level of phyto plant nutrients. So your vitamins and minerals, if you're not eating the right thing, you can get in some serious trouble.
And again, you know, if like Jesha, you know, you're very young, you're very healthy, you don't have health issues, but I would imagine that as you get older, your dietary needs also become more constrictive or more influenced by different conditions you may develop over life?
100%. And my attitude with all my books has always been very simple. These books are meant, for my books, are meant to be a guide. So they're to guide you to eat better. It's not meant for you to follow for the rest of your life. I want to teach you lifestyle changes, right? Lifestyle changes rather than stick to a program that you won't be able to do forever.
Yeah, and it does. When you go through these big highs and lows or something like intermittent fasting, I would imagine to do that forever would like change your personality.
Not just your personality, but also you're influencing your hormones.
That's right. You're changing a lot of things.
Yeah, so, you know, do these things, maybe to hit the reset button like Jesha did.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But if you're going to keep at it in perpetuity, really consult your doctor.
That's right.
Right?
There you go.
See, that's why I get the A. I love you, doctor.
I love you too.
Up next, we're going to get a cheat